Patriots have a bunch of problems. And that's the reason why that score right there is not in the Patriots' favor, because that was the easiest game that you possibly could have won, but you handed it to the Steelers. And on today's show, welcome into Patriots Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Brett Alper. They must fix two problems if they want to make the playoffs. And I think you guys, if you watch the Patriots, if you love them like I do and you watch every single game, and especially if you are subscribed to Patriots Today, you know what these problems are. But if you want full, honest analysis of the New England Patriots, if you want me to be completely honest, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to be a homer. I'm going to tell you guys how it is. Make sure you hit that sub button right now. The first one that we need to go over, and I know I'm not going to go over the other one on the back. I'll go over the other on the back half of the show. But this is an extremely sad stat. And the Patriots are averaging over 9 penalties a game, 9.3 to be exact. But I'll round it down to 9, which is the fourth highest in the NFL. And that is just unacceptable because we know what Mike Vrabel is, and we know how good he is as a head coach, as being that hard-nosed guy. But you're only hurting yourself with this one, folks. Patriots have 199-yard penalty yards against, which is 11th worst in the NFL. And what that means is that you are basically shooting yourselves in the foot. We remember yesterday, during the game, Alex Austin, you got a strip sack on Aaron Rodgers, and it was called back for a defensive holding or illegal contact. One of the two. As you can see, the Patriots have the fourth most penalties in the NFL, but only the 11th worst for yardage. Because they're not committing big penalties, but you're committing those small penalties, those stupid penalties. The penalties that you know you shouldn't be committing because you should be a disciplined team. And penalties are a reflection of an undisciplined team. You have to have better practice habits. In the Patriots, you obviously see that they don't because you have those illegal contact. You have those defensive holding penalties. You have stupid penalties nonstop. We've seen the false starts. We've seen the holding calls on offense. Overall, this isn't what the Patriots are supposed to be. You know that Mike Vrabel's culture is hard-nosed, no-nonsense football. If you mess up once, you're on the bench. And he's not a brand new head coach. He's done this before. He's done this with the Tennessee Titans. And we know back in those days when he was with the Titans that the teams were disciplined. Well, the Patriots, I know they're young, but you have to be better because that embodies what the coach teaches you. And clearly they're not teaching, or Mike Vrabel isn't teaching his team enough discipline, and you got to be better. And I saw this picture on Twitter. And it was what last year's team was and what this year's team was. And spoiler alert, that's the second half of the video, that second stat right there. Turnovers. But you see the penalties. 27 in 2025 and 13 in 2024. And you both have a 1-2 record. But before we go out and say Mayo over Vrabel, and before you push that over Avery, I think it's the other player 2 stat comp. So the difference between Mike Vrabel and Gerard Mayo. Well, you can tell after 2 weeks that the Mike Vrabel team is much better than Mayo's team, and you can see it. I know the records are the same, but when you look at the points scored, the passing yards, the touchdowns, it's so much better, guys. 39 points when you had Mayo, 60 points with Mike Vrabel, 785 yards, 5 touchdowns compared to 1. And 2 interceptions because you're just throwing the ball more. Jacoby Brissett was not great. Almost said Jacoby Myers. But, come on. Brissett was not a good quarterback. And this team looks so much better under Mike Vrabel than Gerard Mayo. And that's why this loss yesterday is so frustrating because you had the game in hand. But at the same time, we go back to the week before, you could be one play away from being 0-3. If Devin Achane doesn't step out of bounds, you'd be 0-3. But hell, we could go back to week 1. And if you don't make a simple mistake and you score a touchdown and you don't stall out and we don't commit to running the ball or at all, you could be one play away from 3-0. If you do not fumble, if you do not commit a holding penalty that led to a touchdown against the Steelers after strip sacking Aaron Rodgers, you could be 3-0. It's very, very, very frustrating, and this team just has to be more disciplined and commit less penalties. I know they're young, but you got to teach that. You have to teach that. And that starts with the head coach. And I know Vrabel is pissed off. Listen to his press conference this morning, and he knows that you have to be better because you have the wins in hand. I still have confidence in him, a lot more than I did with Gerard Mayo. What's your confidence scale in Mike Vrabel? Give me a 1 through 10 down in the comments section. A 1 for no. We messed up on coach. We should have went out and got Ben Johnson. Or a 10 out of 10. He is our head coach for the foreseeable future. He's going to be great. Go down in the comments section right now. Coming up, got to fix the turnovers. Said it before, and I'll say it again, because the Patriots had 5 yesterday. 5. And it's unacceptable, and there are ways to fix this. But before we get into that, I got to tell you about our sponsor of today's show, and that is Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. I made my own lineup for Monday Night Football, and I think that Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to go off against Baltimore. Give me the more on receiving yards, 71.5. And then Lamar Jackson, the more. Tyler Loop also going to get a field goal. Give me the more on that one. You can make a lineup just like that when you download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. You know what's not good to be right? Having 5 turnovers in Sunday's game. I'm pretty sure no team has had 5 turnovers this entire season except for the Patriots. I'd have to fact check, but just going based off of what I watched all throughout the first 3 weeks of the season, because this is the most turnovers the Patriots have had since 2008 when Matt Castle was the quarterback and you played the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll never forget it when Troy Polamalu kicked that ball out of the back of the end zone. Frustrating game because also the Patriots should have won that game. But we're now in 2025, not 2008. And I'm at the age of 27 and not 10 or 11. Here's what Mike Vrabel had to say about all the turnovers that had. He said this in this morning's press conference. We got to continue to practice the crap out of it, saying securing the ball, having ball security. We also got to do a better job at protecting that said person with the ball, whether that's the quarterback, whether that's the running back, or whether that's the receiver. We're all responsible for the security of the football. And I like those comments. But how do you not practice that already? Because last year, Ramondre Stevenson had 7 fumbles. And going into this year, we all talked about it nonstop. Hey, Ramondre's a solid running back, but if he fumbles the ball, you can't play him. So practice ball security. How do you not go into this season by making sure that Ramondre holds on to the football? You got to practice that more and more and more and more. And that should be your number one priority. Now you're saying it's going to be a number one priority? Come on. Come on. And for Drake May, just take the sack. That's all it is. No, nothing else. I have no other complaints. I know you threw an interception. Mistakes happen. It's okay. It's okay. But the Patriots should have won that ball game. And they were better than the Steelers in every single aspect of the football game except for the turnover battle. And you don't believe me? Well, the stats don't lie at all. You look at the yardage, total yards. Patriots had 369. Steelers had 203. First downs. Patriots had 26. Steelers had 17. You beat them in twice in yards, first downs, penalties. Oh, yeah, we just talked about penalties in the first half of the show. Well, the Steelers had even more. Time of possession. You had the ball way more. You had a 17-play, 92-yard drive that ended in an interception. And you can see the turnover battle right there, 5-1. This goes back to discipline. This goes back to that culture that Mike Vrabel wanted to bring in. Disciplined teams do not turn the ball over. There is a reason why the Steelers always go 500, even though they're not that great of a team. Because what I saw yesterday, the Steelers probably are going to get blown out next Sunday. Disciplined teams do not turn the ball over. They only had 1 interception. And good teams find ways to win. Bad teams find ways to lose. And this next 5 games for the Patriots is make or break, because the next 5 games are going to determine the rest of your whole entire season. And the morale can be really high, or you could be the sky is falling, and we're already talking about mock drafts on this channel. And I don't want that to happen, because the Patriots have a weak-ass schedule. Their upcoming games. I had confidence in Week 4 against the Panthers. At home, coming off, but after yesterday's game, I don't know, because the Panthers just beat the Falcons 30-0. 30-0. I'm obviously going to chalk up that as a loss, but the Saints look like the worst team in football. Actually, no, the Titans look like the worst team in football. They're a dumpster fire. You got to win those 2 games right there. And the Browns, they beat the Packers, which is unbelievable. But if you don't go like 4-1 or 3-2 during this easy part of the season, your season's over, man. Your season's over. And I still have belief that the Patriots can win games. Win games. A lot of people predicted that they were going to start 1-2 to start the season with losses to the Dolphins and to the Steelers. You're 1-2. Season's not over just yet, because there's a lot of 1-2 teams in this league. A lot of 1-2 teams. You have a chance to get that 7 seed. We're still alive. Still alive. I'm still very pissed off about the game, though. Will the Patriots go 4-1 over their next 5 games? Give me a Y for yes, or give me an N for no. I'm going to go 3-2. I think they're going to probably throw up a terrible game at some point, because they did it yesterday, so they can obviously do it again. Go down in the comment section right now. Give me a Y for yes or N for no. And while you're down there, go ahead and hit that sub button. We hit 30,000 subscribers on yesterday's live stream, so now on to 31K. Hit that sub button, and as always, let's go Pats.